Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about homeschooling with babies and toddlers. What to do with your babies and toddlers when you are working with your older children or if you are a work from home mom. How to balance working from home and homeschooling. I am a homeschool mom of 5 littles. They are 1, 2, 5, 7, and 9, and I also work from home as well. My work is project-based, so it's not something that I do every day, but it's projects that I do. So I'm going to share with you the things that I have done to be able to have focus time with my older kids and have time to work on my projects. So starting with the newborn stage. The newborn stage, I find that is the easiest stage for me because babies sleep so long. They sleep so many hours a day. And so I usually have them close to me. They're sleeping. I do a lot of baby wearing. I put them on my lap and they'll nap there. They'll be there very still. And I also work during their nap time. So when the baby is napping, I will work with my older kids or I'll work on a project that I have to do. And that works out really lovely for me. The trouble starts when they are 1 and they start walking and they start doing dangerous things and climbing on things and putting things in their mouth. I know you guys can relate. It is a tough season. They are getting into the drawers and they're opening your closets and getting everything out of your closets, and your house is like completely being terrorized by this 1-year-old. So from 1 to 2, it's a tough season, and I just want you to understand that. And don't have unrealistic expectations. Just understand that this is going to be a tough season. And if you are aware that it's a tough season, then you know that this season will pass and that it is fleeting. It will pass. And so what do you do during that time? So I recommend to get the things that the child can get into locked away. So if it's a closet, put a lock on it. I'm going to link below in the description box the locks that I use for the closets, for the drawers. So you want to make sure that they don't have access to the drawers, they don't have access to the closets. I also have these protectors for the doorknobs where they can't access certain areas of the home. So if I don't want them to go into this particular bedroom or into this particular area that has a door, I will put these door knob locks where they can't open the door. And so what you want to do is basically baby-proof your entire house and make it very minimal. Don't have things out so that the child can get into them. So do toy rotation. Only leave a few things at a time out. Because when you leave a lot of things out, they're going to make a huge mess out of that. And it's just going to be so hard for you to pick it up later. So do toy rotation. Also, if you can find a little area of your home where you can have a little gated area for your babies and toddlers, I highly recommend that. So in my home, I have the homeschool room is actually our gated area. And so I have a gate, and then I have a little toddler box, a little toy box that I rotate toys in and out there for them. And these are things that they don't see all the time. And so, and it's constantly changing. So it's fun when I take out the box and they see these toys and they love to play with them. So for my 1-year-old, what I do is when I'm homeschooling, I have my gated area and she can play. I take out 1, 2, 3, 4 toys out and she'll stay there playing while I am homeschooling my other kids or while I'm working on something else with a project. And now keep in mind that they're not going to stay there playing with this little box for hours on end. They're going to walk away. They're going to come back. And so that is why I highly recommend that you have your whole entire house baby-proofed, because this is going to eliminate the access to things that they can get into that are dangerous for them, that they can make a mess with. And it has been such a blessing that my kids cannot get into the closets. They can't get into the drawers. And it's really minimize the work that I have to do. So for my 1-year-olds, until they turn 2, I have them as close as possible to me. When I'm homeschooling, they're homeschooling with me. I have a few things that I put out for them. Whatever I am doing, I involve them in it. I just bring them along. When they turn 2, remember, it's a tough season. It's gonna pass. When they turn 2, I do what I call table activities. So in my dining room, I set up activities for my 2-year-old. And he has what I call a fun box. And in this fun box, I have things that he absolutely loves that he doesn't get to play with all the time. I have things such as Play-Doh and kinetic sand and puzzles, and he's into cars, so I'll take out a racetrack that he really loves playing with, and I'll have it there, and I'll set it up on the table for him, and he gets to play there on the table. And I call that his school time. When I'm working with my older kids, I'll set up his table activities, whatever it is that I have for that day for him. And a lot of times I involve him in picking out what he wants from his fun box. And he knows that it's his school time, and he loves that. And he will stay there playing on the table. When you first start doing this, your child might be there for 5 minutes and then walk away. Just understand that this whole concept of table activities and sitting down doing something is not something that toddlers are going to take to right away. It takes time to build attention span and to build that ability to be able to stay in a spot for a long time. So the 5 minutes is going to turn into 10 minutes, and the 10 minutes into 30, and so on. So just be patient and understand also that when the child walks away to play with a cardboard box, to play with things around your home that are safe for them, that's okay as well. Because play is probably the best way that children learn. And through play, they are learning so much. They are learning problem solving, and they're using their creativity and their imagination to do things. So it's important to allow the child to have unstructured play, to create with whatever it is that's around them. And I like to have things that are open-ended for kids, like blocks, and I can make a whole video on our fun box and what I find that is open-ended and that the child uses their imagination with, and that keeps their attention for a long time. I'll be making that video soon for you guys. So for my 2-year-old, I have these table activities for him, and he is there doing his table activities. And of course, again, he's going to walk away and he's going to do his thing after a while. But that's what I do. For the baby, again, she is in a gated area and she stays as close to me as possible. So when the child is 3 and up, now they have more attention span and they have the ability to self-regulate, and they are able to follow instructions and to do things a little bit better. So then I allow them to have more access to other places around their home. And I have a little playroom in my home where I have a play shelf with open-ended things that I rotate in there. I also have an indoor sandbox, and I have different things in the playroom that I can make a video. If you guys want me to make a video of our playroom, I can, to show you guys how I do toy rotation and what I have there in the playroom. And what I do is I have my older children that are done with their work. They can go and take the littles down there, and they can play in the sandbox. Again, they already know how to use the sandbox. They don't get all the sand out. And my older children do supervise it so that it stays neat and only a little bit gets out if it does. And they play there with the toys and they have fun while I work with the other kids. And so while my oldest is probably done with her work, she is going to be playing with the littles. Now, if you want to see a video of my oldest and how she does her work and she finishes her work really early, I will link that below in the description box, because she is amazing with her work. She does a lot of independent work. She works with her one-on-one time with me, and then she's off to play. And I love that she helps me with the littles, and she is done with her work and she goes to play outside or she plays with the littles. So that is one thing that I really love. So let's talk about screens. A lot of you ask me, JD, can I, manage my children by putting the TV on for them while I work with my older kids and all that? And I want to say that is something that you have to answer for your own family, because we all have different situations and we all have different seasons. And there may be a season in your life where you need to use a screen maybe to manage your children. In my home, what we do is we keep screens to the weekends. So I have a little TV that I bring out and I put on a little table for them in my living room. And it stays there only in the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Sunday night, we put it away, and then it comes back the next Friday afternoon. I find that is the best way. In the weekends, we're usually out. and we're out hiking, we're out shopping, we go to church. So we're not here on the weekends very long. So that is my way of managing screens, as to not take it away completely, because I really do feel that they get some value out of watching the screens. There's a lot of great educational shows and nature shows and things like that. But to answer your question, that is something that you have to decide for you and your family. I have had seasons where I've had to use screens because it's been a tough season. For example, in my pregnancies, I get this condition called hyperemesis, and it is a very debilitating condition where I am bedridden for months, for like 6-7 months. I am bedridden. It's horrible. I vomit everything I eat. I can barely keep anything down. It's just a terrible time, and I have to homeschool from bed. And what can I do with my littles if I don't have anyone to help? I have to use the screens, and I'll put educational shows on. So if you're in a season like that, like the one I was in, or maybe you have a newborn and you're in bed all day feeding your newborn and taking care of a newborn, it's okay to use screens in those instances when you don't have an adult to help you. And I'm going to link below some of the educational shows that I have used for those tough seasons. There's a lot of great shows, but the best thing to do really is to get help, to get outside help, to get a family member to come and help you. It takes a village to raise children, and that is where I want to leave this video. It takes a village to raise children. So to end it with the screens, before I go into getting outside help, is that screens, although helpful and a great babysitter, and children will stay still and quiet while watching it, you don't want to have your children depend on screens and watch screens for many hours a day, because it is harmful. I see children's behavior change, their attention spans decrease, and they use the screens to self-regulate. So, like, you don't want to get to a point where, okay, you're upset, let's go turn on the TV. Oh, you're not behaving, let's go turn the TV on. Or we're in a restaurant, we want to be quiet, let's go turn the iPad on. Or let's put the phone on in the car so you can relax. You don't want to use screens and devices as a form of self-regulation, because then you are not giving the child the opportunity to develop their own self-regulation. Children need to be able to withstand boredom and to be able to regulate their emotions on their own, and you don't want to use screens to do that. Children will use screens as a form of comfort, and they will use it, and they'll make attachments and bonds with screens. So it's really important that you don't depend on screens. And my advice is, once you're done with the tough seasons, is to keep screens to the weekends, or to keep screens to a minimum. Now, going on to getting outside help. It takes a village to raise children. And nowadays, I feel like more and more families are raising their children in isolation, without the help of family, without the help of grandparents, without the help of a village. And it really does take a village to raise children. So it takes a village to raise a child. And I think getting outside help is one of the most wonderful things you can do for when you have littles. So whether it's getting a mother's helper, whether it's getting a grandparent to come and help you, whether it's just getting a teenager to come to your home and read to your children, work with them, play with them a little bit, that is going to be a huge help. I have my mom that comes to help me twice a month. I know it's not a big deal. It's not a huge help, but she does come to help me twice a month, and she stays for a few days. And another thing that I'm utilizing this year is that I have a neighbor that she's a student, and she is helping me with my littles 3 times a week. So they go to her for 3 hours a day, and she helps them with their school, and she reads to them, and she does all those one-on-one things. And then that allows me to have free time to work with my older kids, to work on my projects, on my business. It allows me to have some alone time, some quiet time. And it's not something that we all need as moms, to have quiet time and alone time sometimes. Another thing that I want to recommend is maybe a day school or a Montessori school where they go 3 times a week from like 9 to 12, where they can do activities and be with other teachers. There's a lot of programs. The YMCA has a lot of programs too, where you can take your kids and it's a drop-off program, and they can do preschool activities with other children from like 9 to 12 if it's something that you can afford. And it's going to be life-changing to have the community help you. It takes a village to raise a child. Whether it's a preschool, a Montessori school, a neighbor, a student, a teenager, a mother's helper, a grandparent, a friend, get the help you need, especially in this tough season. You're going to be so glad that you got it. The same goes for cleaning your home. You may want to get help cleaning your home. Maybe once a month, have someone deep clean your home for you. Use your community. Use the resources that you can, if you can afford it. If not, maybe you can do an exchange and see if you can barter. But there's so many things that you can do to make it easy for yourself during this tough time of these hard seasons with littles. For working moms, one last tip that I want to give you is whenever I'm working on a project, because the work that I do is project-based, it's not every day, I wake up at 4 in the morning when all of my kids are sleeping, and I get in a lot of focus time in the morning, 4 in the morning. And that gives me like 3 hours of really focused work when I'm working on my work. And it has worked really good for me. It has, whenever I am working on a project, has given me that focus time that I needed. I find that I work much better in the morning than at night. My mind is more sharp, more focused, and I find that waking up early is probably the most efficient thing that you can do as a homeschool mom. If you're not in the 5 a.m. club, jump on, because that is the best thing you can do. Waking up early, 5 a.m. routines are amazing. They will make your day so efficient, so wonderful. I'm going to be sharing with you guys my 5 a.m. routine in the coming videos, because a lot of you guys wanted to see it. Well, I hope you have gotten some good ideas on managing children in this tough season of littles. I hope that you are going to be implementing some of these things so that you can have an easier time with your littles. And I hope that this video blesses you in great ways. If you want to leave a comment in the video, if you have any ideas on how you manage your littles, please go over to my community tab. I'll link it in the description box, and you can leave me all the comments you guys want. Also, anything that I mentioned in the video is going to be linked below in the description box. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe to my videos. I make videos about homeschooling, education, parenting, all types of things. Until the next time, bye-bye.